Hey everybody, how you doing? It's another beautiful day in Chicago. We're at Waukegan Airport, and today we're going to be heading back up to the Northwoods of Wisconsin, and going to be bringing with a buddy today, Randy Swift. Randy Swift and I go back, I'm not going to say how many years, but we were friends since we were 5 years old, so we're going to have a lot of laughs today, that's for sure. And we'll head up to Lakeland Airport. We'll check out, Randy's acquired a 77 Monte Carlo drag racer, a pretty cool car, so maybe we'll fire that up and check that out. And we'll check out the hangar. And I've got some World War II stuff in there, some pretty cool stuff. It's like a museum, so maybe we'll check that out, and we'll see what else is going on. So we'll have a good time no matter what, so come on along, it's going to be fun.
Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go back to that same old place? Chicago. Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Howdy, hey, baby, don't you wanna go back to that same old place, sweet home, Chicago. 1 is 2, 6 2 is 8. Come on, baby, don't you make me late. Howdy, hey, baby, don't you wanna go back to that same old place, sweet home, Chicago. Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go?
Morning, everybody. We've got Randy Swift with us today. Let's pull this back to there. How's that? Good. And we're calling this Randy. Should jiggle it forward. Yeah, there we go. Randy Swift Day today. We're going to call this Randy Swift Day officially. So we're going to fire this thing up. All right. So I'm going to kind of tell you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we've got the power on, and we're going to turn a fuel boost on right there, and then we're going to hit the starter switch. Then I'm going to have my hand on here. Now, what we've got to do is we feather forward, make sure the prop is out of feather in max forward mode. Check that our air conditioning, bleed air, everything's off. Fuel is on, and we come over watching for two
Pause
things after
system test.
I fire
Okay.
this up. So this is going to introduce the fuel once I push this to low idle. But I'm watching for the NG and the ITT and RPM, and that level's off, so I'm going to introduce the fuel. Now what I got to really watch here is the ITT and the NG. A hot start on the ITT and the NG. A hunk start. Everything's in the green, everything's looking good. I'm going to put her back to normal. The oil pressure, we've got oil temperature, amps, and we have fuel flow. So I'm going to put it in high idle. Rain still. Next thing I'm going to do is turn the air conditioning on. Some air. And I'm going to turn the fuel boost off, and I'm going to turn the standby alternator on. And that's kind of the basic things. Avionics 2 turns all the other stuff on, and then I'm going to flip over to debate once Com 2 comes up, what's called ATIS. And ATIS is every hour they announce the weather.
Advise just contact information Oscar.
So information Oscar. It's the hourly identifier.
Information Oscar, time 1155, Zulu observation, wind 250 at 5, visibility 10, sky condition clear. Temperature 232.17, altimeter 299.05. ILS runway 23 approaching use. Reback hold short instructions. Notice Chairman, taxiway Charlie closed between the north ramp and
That's
Charlie
the air
3.
pressure.
Advise initial contact, information Oscar. Use. Reback hold short instructions.
He said 2-3 approach in use, so we can anticipate getting a command of Mike 1, taxiway Alpha, cross runway 14 for. We're going to go out this way and go down that way. So before we do that, we're going to do some pre-takeoff checklist items. We're going to go through the main checklist to make sure we got everything on here. We don't miss everything. Avionics 2, power lever's good, air conditioning's on, generator, check battery charging, volts, we've got 28, that's good, fuel boost. That's normal, and I put the standby alternator on already. Beacon and strobe is on, and let's turn the power on, and we'll turn the on. If anybody needs to charge anything. Radios and avionics. So what we want to do here is set up for our flight. So I'm going to hit direct to Alpha Romeo Victor, which is the airport, Lakeland Airport, Minocqua. So we get that in. That's going to set up our route, which is kind of, you know, from here, it's basically that way. Okay? That way. Yeah, the next thing we want to do is, we're going to be flying more on the western side of the compass. We're going to want to pick an altitude, an even altitude plus 500, because we're VFR. So we want to stay low, but not too low. I'm going to start out at 4,500. And we're going to see, so what I'm going to do is altitude select, and you'll have all the same stuff here. If you look, you're going to see me going up to 4,500. Now you see the route, see those, it's actually our route that shows on there. And that'll be our initial altitude. If the air is smooth, it's pretty early. We'll probably cruise at that altitude, and we'll start feeling some bumps, and then we'll start moving up. But we want to play below the wind. We've got winds out of the north, and that's great. So we've got our altitude set, we got our course set. Want to make sure that our transponder is squawking 1200, which is VFR. For IFR, they give us an assigned number. It's the main checklist. I'm going to do wing flaps at 20 degrees, and you'll see in the back these flaps start coming down. And then I want to make sure that all my trim is good. I've got my right trim on the rudder in the back. This is the elevator trim. It all looks good. Inertial separator, this is for when we're taking off gravel runways or we have heavy rain or weather, and that diverts air that's coming in the intake to the side, so nothing is sucked into the jet engine. Latch release we know is off. Friction lock is here, that's good for takeoff. Fuel totalizer, that takes, so let's look at our fuel. We'll call it 1,600 fuels. 1,600 pounds, not gallons, 1,600 pounds. So we're gonna hit engine button, system button, and then we're gonna say reset the fuel. Overspeed governor, that's the last thing we will do. Control correct. This is something's locked, you go to take off and you're like, you're gonna go off the runway. So we're ready to contact ground. Waukegan ground, good morning, Caravan 188 Sierra Foxtrot at signature. We're departing the northwest with Oscar.
Caravan 188 Sierra Foxtrot, Waukegan ground, good morning, sir. Runway 23 taxi from signature, Mike 1 Alpha, cross runway 32 at Alpha.
Okay, Mike 1 Alpha, 32, we'll be crossing 423 Sierra Foxtrot. Okay, so now we're on with the ground frequency. We're just going to kind of follow what stay on frequency with them, and we're going to be going straight ahead like I said. We're going to be taking a right turn. everybody. It's Randy Swift Day. We're on our way up to Minocqua, Wisconsin. We're going to land at Lakeland. First, Randy and I go back, well, since we were 5 years old. I think Randy was definitely my first buddy. The only other kid I was saying I can remember is a kid named Joey Ercolaci, and I don't remember what he looks like, but how could you forget that name? But Randy and I, well, I think we were the Firebug twins.
Yeah.
We set some good fires, and we always seemed to get caught. We learned better over the years, but what was that one set a smoke bomb in that apartment building across the street from where I lived on Rosemary Lane? Fire trucks came, ran off in the woods, and then what happened?
Came out of the woods and the whole world was looking for us. Wanted to know, what are you doing?
And what did we say? We're like, oh, we did it. That was us.
Yep, we did it.
We could have just said, oh, I don't know, but no, we're like, how old were we, like 7, 8 years old? Remember those smoke bombs?
Yeah, the round balls.
Oh, we love those things, yeah. So we're gonna land on the lake, and then we're gonna unload some things, and then we are going to fly back to Lakeland Airport. All right, Randy's gonna fly the plane. So what I'm gonna do, obviously, if you pull back, it goes up. If you push forward, the plane goes down, left, right. I'll work the rudders if we need to. You don't have to worry about your feet. Turn the autopilot off right now. All right, plane is yours. See if you can follow commands. That, okay, I want you
glad to keep us in the air.
Yeah. All right, how about a left turn? Let's go that way. Good. All right, we're very good. Keep your eye on this vertical speed indicator there. Now that's perfect. Now let's go that way. Look at the autopilot. What do we need an autopilot for?
Right?
That about my son. Yeah, very good. All right, let's just say there's a flock of birds coming. Take us down. Push forward. Avoid those more. Avoid those birds. Oh, beautiful. Back up. Yeah. Let's get back up there. The birds just went by. Back up to 4,500. Okay. Forward. All right. Very good. Now let's get back on course. So we're gonna go that way. Dude, you're hired.
Okay.
I'm gonna get some stripes for Randy and a white shirt.
Yeah.
3 bars. Co-pilot. All right, my plane.
All yours.
All right. Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Gear is up for water landing.
We're just going to ease it to the right by these trees. Out of this part to get low. Not going to land it until we get by these trees right here. That is a short field landing. That's the stall warning, that's normal. All right, cool.
Okay, we're at Little Bohemia Resort in Manitowish Waters. Very famous place. This is where Public Enemies was shot. Of course, this is the actual location where Babyface Nelson, John Dillinger had famous shootout with the G-Men. And actually, this is the road where the G-Men snuck in at night and they ran into a car, two customers coming out. They thought it was the gang. They opened fire. They killed one of the, I think the passenger of the car. Of course, that alerted the gang and they were upstairs and the gunfire started. You can see all the original bullet holes are still here. In fact, so what the gang did is they had a shootout and the G-Men had the place surrounded on this side. You can still see some of the bullet holes right here in the brick and in the windows. Look at that. Big holes. 50 caliber probably. So what happened was is that as the shootout was going on, of course it was in the middle of the night, the Dillinger Gang, all those guys, they slipped away through these windows, slid down the roof, and in the dark went down to the lake here, and you've got about a 10 to 15 foot drop off where down to the sand at the time, and they just hunched over and they just ran down the shoreline and escaped. And they say that somewhere in these woods up here there's a $200,000 satchel that John Dillinger left in the woods. Buried it. People are still searching for that today. This is where it happened. Dillinger. All right, Little Bohemia. Look at the bullet holes. Oh, Dillinger. Wow, let's go see. Look at that. John Dillinger, Babyface Nelson. Big shootout here at the Little Bohemia. The famous getaway car. Check it out. There he is, the bones of Dillinger. No, they shot him at the Biograph. Well, no airplanes in here, but let's open this thing up. Throw up the switch. Boom. All right, I do the automatic up. I got a 4x4 here. I'll give you guys a quick look around the hangar, and I've got some cool World War II stuff here. Actually, this here is the flight suit and the actual parachute that I had bailed out in when we had the TBM go out over the mountains of Arizona. This is my flight suit that I was wearing, and you can see here, I got to tell you, this parachute was from Strong Parachutes in Florida, and I got to tell you, they thank God for them, because they saved my life, they saved Kenny's life, and it worked perfectly. Not designed to go cruising around in, but enough to save your life. And this was a vintage style parachute, and it was pretty much completely, it was designed to simulate Navy pilots' Pacific theater. And you can see the coloration. The only thing it doesn't have is the stitch marks down the middle here. We're even going to simulate that with some pattern of ink or something. But yeah, this is the parachute that saved my life. So thank you, Strong. What I have over here is some World War II relics. Pacific Theater, of course, this is the model of the TBM Avenger. This was the airplane that I flew, folding wings, and that's the airplane that went down the mountains that is still missing. This is an actual Japanese flag that was captured. I've got 2 of those. I think these were captured, as I understand it, on Okinawa. And you see here that it's a picture of the guy whose flag it was. This is the guys that were on the aircraft carrier that were doing, they were called the Talkers or Talkies, I forget there was a name. They have these giant helmets. You'll see them in the pictures because they had the old-fashioned headphones. And this over here is some Japanese. This is an actual helmet that was recovered from Iwo Jima, and I have some actual pictures here of some pretty graphic stuff. But here's one that's in better shape. This is a portable radio that they would carry, kind of like our guys, you know, on their back, right? I've got a model here of a Thunderbolt, and this is from the TBM. This is an actual camera, night camera. Let's see what we got over here. Now, what we've got over here, this is an actual Navy Cross I got from some family. Now, these 2 pictures are really relevant. These are from the Battle of Midway. And this is when the TBM Avenger first entered service. This one is actually signed by Ferrier, and he is very famous because he's the only guy that really, him and the pilot Bert Ernst are the only 2 guys to survive the torpedo attack. Of all the torpedo bombers, the only 2 guys to make it back, and they basically had to crash land their TBM on Midway. And here's a note from him. So I got those at some actual airman goggles. It's amazing. Yeah. Airman's actual leather airman's. So this is an actual airman's cap, gloves. This is the famous Mae West. And this is, you know, of course, where they would breathe in there, inflate it up. If these things didn't work, you would pull these. I'm afraid if I pulled that right now, those they are CO2. Those things could work. Who knows? Over here, we've got some pictures of probably, actually, my favorite plane is the Dauntless, and these are over, I think, either Guam or Truck, and just a really, really cool airplane. This is German now. Now we're starting to get into German, Europe, the Battle of Europe. And what else do we have? We got some pictures of some other guys. Let's see what else here. Here we've got B-17. And this is the German cargo plane. They were parachuted out. I don't remember the name of this thing. I have it on the tip of my tongue. And this is an actual altimeter from, oh no, this is an actual fuel gauge from the TBN. And this is a German field phone, field set. Yeah, so here's a few of the things I've got. Here's a really cool, Mr. Eric Kunkel gave me this. I think he gave this to me, yeah. And New York Times, this is when one of the aircraft carriers was hit off Okinawa and almost sunk. The aircraft carrier was Bunker Hill. And that is the aircraft carrier that I had my airplane, everything, all the markings, everything off of. And actually, I do believe that this American flag is from, I know it's from one of the aircraft carriers in the Pacific. I'm not sure which. But I do know that this British flag over here flew at Debden Field and was there and flew during Luftwaffe attacks, and you can see the battle scars. Well, they were fixed, but yeah, that's a real deal. Pretty cool stuff. So, well, come on over here. There's your car.
Black and yellow. It was different in the pictures.
Cool. All right, let's go have a look at this thing. Put your stuff down. Oh, I forgot. I have a big arcade. So this has a line lock. I have.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I have ones that with the pins. 77 Monte Carlo with a 5.72 big block engine and a lot of modifications.